Workshop 360 is a new approach to corporate training that uses both online technology as well as common sense. Now, there's three main elements that we want to talk about first. So, David, what are they?
Well, the core technology that we're going to apply, obviously, is still the same facilitated sessions in the classroom. However, that will be preceded by a pre-classroom experience that I'm about to show you. And then after the classroom session, we'll also have a post-classroom reinforcement and feedback.
Well, you've got a demo button here. Can we go ahead and take a tour?
Certainly. Let me show you what this includes.
I like that logo. Where'd you get that logo?
Actually, I gave a lot of thought to that logo. If you recall from your chemistry lessons back in high school, if you introduce an element into other chemicals, some of them can perform as a catalyst. That is to say that they can change the other chemicals that it's been introduced to, and then once removed, the change is everlasting, but the added element is then able to be applied somewhere else. In many ways, that's what I'm doing as a consultant, is I'm impacting performance in that very same way by being the catalyst.
Now, this says there's a video here. Is this where we officially meet you?
You certainly would have the opportunity to get a sense for what kind of facilitator am I and what some of my thoughts are around this training, Workshop 360.
I'm David Zahn, President of Zahn Consulting, and I'm pleased to be your facilitator for Workshop 360.
Now, this has got a quiz on it. Well, I'm almost afraid to take it. That kind of helps me understand, too, why I come up with the answers that I come up with, why my answers would be correct then.
Rather than just tell somebody you have the right answer or that answer was incorrect, when somebody does choose the correct answer, not only do we explain why that is the correct answer, but we also offer additional support explaining why the other answers were not correct.
That would be nice to use in any kind of training, going through any kind of school. You know, you're always just told, nope, that was wrong, but you never really get the feeling why. So that's part of the main reason of why you're helping us actually learn
Absolutely
and
right.
retain what we are learning here. Now, this actually becomes kind of like homework exercise then before the actual classroom training begins.
In a sense, that is correct, yes. And I also provide people with additional content to give them a sense for what will be covered in the actual classroom training. I can show that to you now.
Okay.
On this part of our pre-workshop content, we provide people with some further explanation about some of the concepts. We give them an indication of what will be covered within the training and allow them to come to the class more prepared to ask their questions, to share their experiences, and to provide some greater perspective on the trained content.
What does this assessment form here mean?
As part of our pre-workshop materials, I ask the participants not only to take the quiz, not only to review some of the knowledge portions of the training, but then also to apply some of that once they're back on their job so that they can come to the class having already completed some of the work that will then form the foundation of what we cover in the training classroom itself.
The whole pre-workshop idea, the notion of it, really makes common sense like we talked about earlier. I sure wish I had had this when I was starting out in my career.
Well, what I was really hoping to accomplish with Workshop 360 was to provide a comprehensive support for the trainee through the entirety of the training process and also ensure that corporate management were getting their objectives met in the course of the training.
Well, I hope everybody can sure take advantage of this. Well, that kind of gives you a brief look at the prologue to Workshop 360. You met the trainer, you engage your mind, and begin learning the process of learning the material, all before you step foot into the training classroom.